Welcome everyone to episode 9 of another Car Channels podcast. For the first time ever, we are trackside, and as always, with me, Courtney Myers, Jason Andrews. What's up, guys?
Hey,
Hello.
nice to be here.
It is a good time.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Yes, it has.
Technical difficulties hammered out, ironed out. We're straight.
Yes, we are. Awesome. So today is a bit of a Q&A. We've received a few questions from all of our channels, social channels, and we figured this would be the time here at the firm to answer those questions.
Yeah.
Jason received a few, I received a few, so we're going to start with the ones I received, and then we're going to move on to Jason's.
And I didn't ask any questions, so
Do you have any questions for us, Courtney?
yeah, I'll think of something. I'll figure it out. I'll be the moderator here.
So the first one is actually, it was a question to me, but it's a question for Jason. Jason, you used to own Mario's GT350R. Why did you get rid of the car? And did you know the engine was going to blow up?
That's a very good question. And I'll answer the second one first. Of course, I knew it was going to blow up. It's a GT350. They all blow up, So, yes, I knew it was going to blow eventually. No, I'm kidding. When I traded that car in, it was fantastic. I don't know what Mario did with the thing, but under my ownership, the car was perfect. Why did I trade it? Why did I get rid of it? At that time, I was tracking a lot. I was at the track a few times a month. And the size and the weight and the price of consumables for such a big, fat, heavy car
Oh yeah.
were starting to kind of annoy me. And, I'd look at the GT350 and I'd be like, why do I have such a big trunk? Why do I have room for back seat and a back seat in my track car? And so, I had so much fun tracking the S2000. And then when I found the Alfa Romeo 4C, which has none of this comforts or, size or anything, it was just an obvious choice. So mainly size and weight for me.
Awesome. Second question. This one is for Courtney.
Oh wow.
Courtney, you talk about a GT3 RS, but are you actually going to get one before your car is built?
Before my car is built, no, because if I do get a different car, like a GT3 RS or even a GT4 race car, it would be to get rid of the GT350 R, and because I would need to sell that car first, get the cash out of it, and use towards the GT3 RS. So no, if I got a GT3 RS, it would be after the car is built, which, the latest update, I talked to the engine shop sometime in February, so realistically I should have a car back on track in March, and from there I'll make a decision on whether I want to swap platforms. But swapping while it's under construction is not the most financially responsible idea.
That makes sense. Now, one of the questions that was sent to Jason. What is the best car for buying, tracking, and daily driving based on the median salary of our country? What percentage of your paycheck should you put into this? Cash versus loan on the car? Can an average guy afford a track car while being financially responsible in every other aspect of life?
Yeah.
What's roughly the median income?
Allegedly, in the United States, it's 60,000.
60 or 70K, yeah.
Yeah.
So my first thought would be financial responsible in track car at 60 grand. I would probably say no.
Yeah.
Ultimately. Now, I've obviously made some of those mistakes. You guys are pretty well off. I don't know, but 60 grand, should you be dumping 5, 10, 15K in a track car?
Probably not.
No, I think if you're at that, we've always talked about how, we're not like exorbitantly wealthy, but you do have to have a certain level of income, I think, to do this and do it regularly. Mainly what you were talking about, the consumables, man. Like, and especially at higher levels you go, the more expensive it gets. So I think if you're at those income levels and you have with that salary, you can afford an average car, or above average car. And if you want to take it to the track periodically, I think you absolutely can do that. It's just a dedicated track car and taking it to its limit. I think that's going to be tough on that salary.
I would say
The answer is the Mazda Miata,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you why. Courtney recently bought one, and it wouldn't be something that like if you blow it up, the consumables and the replacement parts are the cheapest out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think in episode 5 or 4, Courtney talked how he bought 2 sets of tires for the Miata, and the first number was like a five, like
Right.
500,
Mm-hmm.
versus that's what we pay
Per
in
tire.
all of our cars for one tire
Yeah.
at best.
Mm-hmm.
So
Or more.
if you can get a mid 2000s Miata that
I forget which model comes turbocharged, but it has a good amount of power. It's got 180, 200 horsepower.
Yeah.
some tires and a front lip and a rear wing, and you can probably afford to do it affordably. Now, this is a very expensive hobby. I don't advise it to anybody. Um, Also, another very good car, not because we had problems with a BRZ, but out of the box, I think a BRZ, like the first generation, they're a good car. You can have a good time with them if you're doing autocross or stuff like that.
But I feel like in this hobby, when you reach a point of a certain competitiveness, once you want to push to the next level, and you start like, oh, I have a set of track tires and a set of this.
Mm-hmm.
I want better, bigger brakes. There's a threshold that you cross that is what I like to call the point of no return. And at that point, uh, there's no way of doing this cheaply. It's just simply you're gonna spend money, right?
But no, but to your point, like if your car, if you can only have one car, get a Miata or a BRZ, and those are capable enough on the track.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think I guess you can, but it depends at what level you want to be.
yeah. Now, the next question is: should everyone experience driving on track in a high performance setting? I'm assuming like in a lifetime. Um, I think the answer is simply yes. And it also depends on what you define as high performance, because you could take a Audi or a Camaro Mustang and put a capable driver behind the wheel and be able to
Drive it close to the limit, and that would be considered high performance. Now, are you saying should everybody at some point always take a supercar on track or experience being driven in a supercar on track? I would also say the answer is yes. That would be incredibly fun for almost anybody,
Sure.
as long as you have a bit of a thrill for speed.
I don't know. I mean, you could live a perfectly fine, happy life, never experiencing motorsports at all.
Yeah.
If you like driving and you like cars, then yeah. I mean, I think that some type of performance driving you should have to do that before you get like a driver's license. Honestly, that's what I think.
Yeah, no, and I think doing this has made us better capable drivers on the street and in normal applications too. So yeah, I think before, like you said, before you get your driver's license, I think you should be able to take a car around a track. But yeah, it's just like other hobbies. There are podcasts out there talking about fly fishing with equally passionate people that we're not interested in. So it's just like it's just a hobby.
Hey, back up to that last question. You said something about financing a car or something.
yeah. And the last question said, should you how much from your paycheck should you put into this, and should it be cash versus loan on the car?
I don't think you should be financing your track car.
I agree with that.
I did.
Well, that's not a track car yet.
It's a
True.
supercar. It's comfortable for groceries, man.
Yeah, it's your
The
grocery
Mustang was
gift.
my truck car, and it was financed.
I don't know. I don't think I could drive a car the way I'd want to drive on track if I like owed the bank a bunch of
Yeah.
money.
So I mean, so when I first got my GT350R, I had a loan on it. I paid it off, and when I paid it off is really when I started pushing the car, pushing what I was doing to it, etc. Because I can only imagine smashing a car that you have a loan on into a wall. Like if I smashed my car now, I'd be like, well, that sucks, but I'm not going to have to worry about, is the bank going to come knock on my door? How am I going to cover this? Do I have to lie to insurance? So I think if you want to get serious, like don't drive a finance car, or if you do, don't drive it hard.
So, after we answer this question, we're going to take a quick pause to make sure all of our tech is working. This is our first time at the track, so I want to make sure we don't lose what we're recording. But there's track insurance. So I get my track insurance through Hagerty. I don't do it every time. Like at the firm, I don't, because this is a track that I know like the back of my hand. But when I track Daytona, when I track Sebring,
Yeah.
You can. I think the most I've ever paid for a single track day was $300 with a $5,000 deductible, and it covered the Mustang up to $80,000.
Okay, but that's just for the insurance, right?
That's just for the track day. So if I slam it into a wall in a track, they write me a check.
That $300 is for your track entry fee and the track
No,
insurance.
no, that's just insurance. That
We're talking about somebody who's making $50,000-$60,000 a year. He can't be spending. He can't have a car payment and then be spending $700 a session to go track at Sebring. If we're lumping that question in
Correct.
together,
No, and you're right. But so again, if a person if somebody finances an M3, we'll just put it that way, and they take it to the track and they have a loan on the car.
you may make the decision like, okay, a typical track day at like Sebring is probably 450, twice the price that it costs at the firm. What's $300 at that point? If you put it into a wall, the insurance is going to be like, you're out of luck.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think for that peace of mind, and like you said, if you want to drive close to the limit, you need to have that track insurance.
I think what it comes down to is like at that income level, you can do this, right? But you're not going to do it a lot.
It's a terrible idea for sure.
yeah, for $60,000 to go and buy and finance an M3, and then to shell out $750, $1,000 every month, every other month, that's a stretch, I think.
Yeah, I
in
agree.
that budget. I mean, unless you got roommates and you're
Right.
whatever, and you're living a very small lifestyle. But I assume this person, the average, you got a mortgage or something
Sure.
new, it's an expensive.
We're going to pause here for a second. We're going to check all the tech and we'll be right back.